Hi, Emily. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Sweet. Thanks for having me. We're so excited to be talking to you guys and teaching people about Michigan wine.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to do this. We're doing this whole campaign, and it's going to be fantastic. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Emily. Who are you? What do you do?
So I am the executive director of the Michigan Wine Collaborative. I'm the only employee, which is fun because I get to do everything. So it's kind of nice being able to shape this organization into something kind of fun and a little bit more trendy and just casual than a lot of other wine industries have gone. And I think that that is going to loop a lot of people into Michigan. Is just how comfortable and casual we are. So I think that that has been really nice because I came in where the collaborative was so new, and I mean, I'm kind of new too, so it was nice to be able to kind of form it in a way that I wanted to, and they gave me the freedom to do that. It helps because I have a degree in enology and viticulture from Lake Michigan College, so I have experience in the winery and in the vineyard, so I have that kind of practical experience, but I'm also a wine buyer for a grocery store, so I also have kind of like a global wine knowledge, which is, I think, very important when trying to translate Michigan wine to the global wine stage. You need to know what wine is. You can't just know what Michigan wine is. You need to know how it compares to all of these other regions, and not to better or worse, just so you can explain it to people who do know wine, and you can make it kind of the new wine, which is what we're trying to do.
Nice. Um, okay. Awesome. Well, let's jump right in then to talk a little bit about Michigan wine. A lot of people, when they think wine, I know their first. I know mine is always Michigan. Um, so so what's the industry doing these days? What are they doing different? What's going on in Michigan?
We are just growing so much all the time. We have just I mean, we double vineyards or wineries almost every other year. So, I mean, every year there's new wineries and new grapes going in the ground. I think that Michigan is super unique because we can grow vinifera and we can grow the really super cool cold hardies, which are making really interesting Renaissance wines that have never been made before. So, I think that Michigan is super special in the way we're exponentially growing the industry, but also the versatility in the industry. We can grow so much, we can make so much, and we're starting to incorporate younger winemakers from different areas of the world, from California to Australia, New Zealand. So I think that that is important to kind of bring other experiences to Michigan, so we can kind of, learn from all of these different wine industries that have been so successful and apply that to Michigan. So we're really kind of just learning from everybody and taking it all to heart and seeing how we can apply that to a cold climate growing region, which is difficult. Weather is always a challenge, but I think that without the weather, Michigan wine wouldn't be what it is. And I think cold climate wine is starting to come into trend a little bit more. So I think Michigan's going to be in a really, really good position to kind of capitalize on that a little bit.
Well, let's geek out for a moment on cool climate wines. Did they have a particular style? Are they better as whites? Are they better as reds? What is the typical cool climate wine?
Um, that's another thing about cold climate, I think, in the whole the generality of it is that it is super versatile. I mean, we can make these really lean, clean, mean Pinot Blancs and Rieslings, but we can also do like some really, really cool Cab Francs that are definitely lighter, but they still have a lot in them, a lot of flavor and a lot on the nose, and the balance of the acidity and the sugars and the flavors, and it just all seems to come together really nicely for those kind of Alsatian, Loire Valley varietals. And I think that Michigan, I mean, they certainly don't taste the same because our terroir is totally different. But I think that it's so nice and so refreshing to have something that tastes different than these classic wines, but still has those classic components that Cab Franc will never lose and Riesling will never lose, regardless of where it's from. So versatility is going to be our biggest strength in how much wine we can produce, how many different kinds of grapes we can grow, and the price points on it right now. I just can't believe that some of these wines are so inexpensive. It's just shocking, and people just don't know it yet. So the collaborative is really trying to just get the word out that we are making really crazy, amazing, cool, different, funky wines and you can afford them. They're not all $50 a bottle or $60 or even $30 a bottle. We have some crazy wines for $15.
Nice. So it is May, which apparently is Michigan Wine Month. How did that come about?
Well, it actually used to be April, but April in Michigan can still get a little dicey with the weather. So we thought May might be a little bit better for the industry. It might be a little bit safer to encourage people to get out to the wineries and the tasting rooms. So essentially May is kind of just like the opening gate of wine country season. So that's when we start encouraging people to hit the wineries and the tasting rooms and the vineyards and start seeing their winery friends that they haven't seen all winter long. And it's a long winter in Michigan. So usually right now the tasting rooms are pretty busy and there's lots of events and wine dinners and really cool stuff. But unfortunately we can't move as freely as we usually can. But wineries are really taking advantage of the virtual digital age. Like we're doing this really, really cool project with you guys. And I think that wineries are really embracing different ways to communicate with consumers, and not just consumers in Michigan. They're realizing how big of a reach they can really get through events like this and marketing to people outside of the state, which I think is really cool. And I think is going to be really key to Michigan growing.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about the Michigan Wine Collaborative. What's the mission? How successful have you guys been?
So our basic mission is to just increase sustainability and profitability in the Michigan wine industry for now and for future generations. So we're really trying to build an industry that's going to be there. Previously, we had a government organization called the Michigan Grape and Wine Industry Council, and that was dissolved and turned into the Craft Beverage Council, which is cool because now those other industries have some support, but the wine industry has lost some because that we don't have a whole organization anymore. The collaborative kind of stepped in and tried to supplement where we were going to lose some things with the council. So we are just trying to support the wineries as best we can. A big difference is that we are kind of focusing on promotion and marketing in general, lifting up of the industry versus a lot of research and education, just because we don't really have the facilities for that quite yet. But we really are focusing on just getting the word out to people that Michigan does make wine. It's good wine. It's not all sweet wine. And we're getting better and better and better every vintage. And we couldn't do that without our members. The Michigan Wine Collaborative has a little under 200 members, ranging from vineyards to wineries to students, government officials, retailers, suppliers, all kinds of people. So it really truly is a collaboration of anybody who has a stake in the Michigan wine industry. Because we need the consumers, we need the suppliers to the industry. Obviously we need the wineries and the vineyards, and we need the students and the educators and the researchers. So we really try to kind of invite everybody to help make the industry what they want it to be. So we do try to make it as collaborative as possible. In that way, we really invite all of our members to, start projects or participate in projects, or if they have an idea for the industry, we welcome that and we try to make it happen if we can.
Well, that's really interesting.
It's cool, and everybody's so the thing about wine is that wine people are cool, right? Like they have good ideas and they're passionate about wine. Otherwise, they wouldn't be wine people. And that's the thing I think is a big strength, is that Michigan is full of some really cool wine people who want to see real change in the industry, and they're making that happen.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about some of that change. We're currently still under pandemic rules. I'm not sure 100%. I have seen a little bit about what's going on in Michigan as far as, protesters and. We
don't know those guys. Just so you know, I don't know any of those guys.
Oh no, I'm sure, and unfortunately, I actually do. Guys in Michigan and Wisconsin. The politics of everything aside, what is the industry going to look like in 12 months, in 18 months?
Different, but I think it was going to look different anyway. I think that we're in such a transition right now from losing our government organization and some of the programs that they provided, that we're in a general transition anyway. And I think that silver lining of this is that a lot of wineries are going to become more comfortable with online sales and shipping, and they're going to kind of cross those things off the list that they've been meaning to, and they've unfortunately have been kind of forced into it now. But I'm really hoping that this will kind of give the industry a little bit wider of a reach to get people outside of Michigan ordering wines, and just getting interested in local wine, even if it's not local to them. So just like kind of weird wine regions. I know that I've been ordering wine from regions that I didn't think I ever would. And I really just hope that other people are kind of taking a chance on Michigan. Obviously, it's not ideal that the tasting rooms aren't active right now, and that's a huge revenue source, and in addition to events and festivals and dinners and all of that stuff. So we're going to take a hit, and I don't think that there's many wine industries in the world that won't take a hit from this, but we'll build back up. There's always bad vintages, and the next vintage will be that much better. We'll get through this one, and the next vintage is just going to be killer, and we're going to have a good summer next summer. This summer, I don't want to make any promises.
So now that some states are opening, and some people are allowed to go outside. We're not. We're in California, which is fine. I'm really suffering here. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, right.
So it sounds like it's a unique opportunity for wine drinkers to get out and get wine that they might normally have had access to, or tell us a little bit about what the wine drinkers should be doing right now.
I think that wine drinkers should really be taking advantage of being stuck at home, because the wineries are taking advantage of really building up their shipping facilities and their online ordering, and there are so many deals right now. And if I've been ordering so much more wine than if the tasting rooms were actually opened, just because I'd be like, oh, I'll get there next week, or I'll get there in a couple weeks. But now I'm just going online and I'm ordering 6 or 12 bottles because it's free shipping or penny shipping, or you get, a pound of cheese with it as well. There's so many cool deals that I think that now is a great time to support the industry, because they need you. And obviously the Michigan wine industry, but your local industry in Maryland and Virginia and New York and all of these places that you might not have had wine from, that you're planning, I'm going to go there one day, or I'm going to visit that place and I'm going to drink all the wine. We'll do it now. Don't wait. Just order some wine. There's deals. Take advantage of it. Find your favorites, and then go visit those places when we're able to travel again. Now's a good time to find the real wineries you really, really want to visit when you get to those wine countries.
Sure. Good advice. But tell me more about this pound of cheese.
Bry's Estate and Stony Ridge Vineyards are both doing a deal where if you order, if you order 3, 6, or 12, you get a certain quantity of cheese from a local cheese producer in their area. I know that Bry's is shipping. I think Stony Ridge is only in the state. But if you order 6 bottles, I think you get half a pound of cheese. And if you order 12 bottles, you get a pound of cheese. Local Michigan cheese, 3 different kinds. And I think that is such a cool thing that possibly never would have happened if we wouldn't have been in a quarantine right now. There's some really, really cool, funky packages that wineries are putting together. And I think that is another silver lining of this whole thing, is that we're really being forced to innovate. And what better way than cheese?
Wow. It's funny. I actually hadn't thought about the combination of wine and cheese. It's so foreign to me. That's crazy.
I know, right? Seems so natural.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Wine and cheese. I wouldn't have thought of that as far as, packaging them together and shipping them out.
They came up with that fast too. So that was brilliant.
It's it's springtime, whether you go outside or not. It's May. So what should we be drinking from Michigan over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months?
I think a lot of people are itching for rosé. I think that's an obvious choice right now. I just need something bright and simple and easy and clean. So Michigan is really cool because we do rosés that are, cool, cold, hardy varietals, or Cab Franc rosés or Pinot Noirs or rosés. But if I had to pick one thing to start drinking from Michigan today, right now, Pinot Blanc. We make the best Pinot Blanc that I've ever had. And if you remember, I said earlier, I'm a wine buyer for a grocery store. So I can find you a $30, $40, $50 Alsatian Pinot Blanc that is beautiful. But I can also find you a $15 Pinot Blanc from Michigan that compares like you've never even imagined to Alsatian. So Pinot Blanc is my, I think, my favorite Michigan white varietal right now. Also sparkling wines. We do some really cool sparkling wines, and I think that those are good anytime. Definitely I'm drinking a little bit more rosé, sparkling, and Pinot Blanc right now. So you should too.
Okay. Well, you can find all of the Michigan Wine Collab information underneath on the the YouTubes, and you can click all the links and go to the various sites. Emily, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you guys.
Looking forward to opening some of the Michigan wines. We've collaborated with a couple of wineries, and definitely go out there and check out the content we're going to be producing, and all the social medias, and I'll give you the last word.
Great. Well, thank you guys again so much for having us. I think this is going to be a really cool way to introduce a lot of people to Michigan wine. And just again, get brave, order some wine online, make sure you're home when the FedEx guy gets there, and you'll be really, really happy, I think, with the state of things being locked in your house. As long as there's wine, we'll all get through it.